Welcome home, Raiders. This week, we're back, and we've got a ton to talk about, like Blizzcon was a thing that happened, WoD broke the World of Warcraft, all that sort of stuff. This is Convert to Raid 161.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for Raiders in the World of Warcraft.
Convert to Raid podcast power station in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is November 16th, 2014, and it's now 11:15 a.m. That's Central Time. There we go. Thanks for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land, and hello, my name is Pat Crane. I'm the host of the show. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us, as always. I'm also known as Zug from around Airy Peak, US. Still, well, not raiding. I'm not raiding. Nobody's raiding right now. But the players are here, like from Seattle, from sleepy Seattle. It's Darius.
Hey, where have you guys been? I've been here for the last 3 weeks.
I know.
I've been talking to myself, I think.
Most likely.
Yeah. So I'm kind of glad you're back.
Because the voices in your head weren't doing it for you?
Yeah.
All right.
Got real weird for a while there.
All right. Sounds good. Well, let's go over to La La Land, to Hollyweird, California, to the Funky Monk. And that is Coltrane.
Fortune cookies say.
I did not miss this.
Nope. Yes! The glory of the fortune cookie.
Oh, boy.
Has returned.
Oh, no.
What did the GM say after releasing the servers? What? Oh,
I don't know. What did the GM say after releasing the servers?
What have I done?
what have I done? Thank you, Darius.
Wow, ruining it for everybody.
Ruining it for everyone.
I like this show now.
Oh, this is how we start. This is how it begins.
Yeah, you know.
Terribly. I hope you're proud of yourself, Darius. You just ruined the world
of Warcraft. Yeah, exactly. Well, hi, fellas. It's lovely to be back here laughing with you guys. I know that we had a few weeks off, so that I mean, Darius, you were all over the place. You were all over the country, literally.
Literally, yeah, like, multiple times.
You were in both Disneys.
Yeah, I managed to do Disney World and Disneyland within 4 days of each other.
What?
Did Disney World on a Sunday, and I did Disneyland on a Thursday. On the same Thursday, yeah.
Wow. Now, you're like a hardcore Disney person. So did you do like all of it in one day?
No. I did 3 days at Disney World and then 1 day at Disneyland.
Jeez Louise.
So,
oh boy. Boy.
That's a lot of Disney.
It was a lot of Disney. I went to Universal in between.
You needed to get your Disney in before you went to Disney.
Yeah, I had to make sure.
Nice. But it's been a few weeks, so welcome back, fellas, and it's good to be in front of y'all out there.
Yes,
it's good to be back. Good to be laughing with friends.
It's been a while. It's been good.
Yeah.
And I think I gotta say, for me, at the launch of an expansion is that moment when a man or a woman, they think to themselves, I really wish I was single. Because that is like the one moment when you really wish you were like a single guy or a single lady and you could just play. Right. I wish that I was single. I wish I had no family or friends or anything pulling me away from this silly thing that I'm doing right now. Or you other commitments.
Right. You just play and then you get your wish granted by the time you're 100 anyway. So.
Right. That makes no sense. But anyway, yeah.
So if all your friends leave you, your girlfriend leaves you, end up smelling real bad, you know.
But it only lasts for a few days if I'm reading you correctly, right, Darius?
Right. Because if you think about it, for us, this is like the Super Bowl. like for like sports nuts, right? This is like the new expansion. This is like the Super Bowl.
Right.
This is when we need to be glued right here. Actually, and getting our game on. You know what I mean?
Well, I kind of likened it to Christmas and New Year's, because I mean we had BlizzCon and then we have Warlords release, right? So it was basically like New Year's and then Christmas. So it was it's kind of been a wild ride over the last couple of weeks here. So
yeah,
you know,
but it feels good, man. I'm super jazzed to be in Warlords. I can't wait to talk about it. I'm super pumped.
Well,
I just wish I had more time to play. What? No, it's all right. Everything's cool.
Right.
Our marriage is on the rocks.
Right.
All right.
But
we're in real trouble.
Yeah.
Everybody twice if you're being held captive.
Help me immediately.
Right, exactly. Well, we do have a lot to talk about today, and of course, there's not going to be actual rating news. Actually, we may have a little bit of rating news, but that'll be later. So, I mean, let's just talk about all the stuff that's going on with Warlords, and we'll touch on BlizzCon as well, and maybe get to a question if we haven't already answered it by the time we get to the end of the show. So, yeah, let's talk about Warlords. And first, I just want to check in. We have a friend that's standing by right now who's getting into WOD as we speak. So let's check in with him. I'm going back to Draenor, to Draenor, to Draenor. I'm going back to Draenor. Yeah. What? Hold music. No, I don't think so. Anyone up for a game of Hearthstone? Sheesh. You are 1,500 in queue. Estimated wait time.
It might be a while. It might be a while.
Might be a little bit. Might be a little bit. So let's talk about Warlords and maybe go back to like the day before Warlords actually hit. And remember when we saw that taxi in Times Square with Grom's axe sticking out of it?
Yeah. Whoever they hired as a marketing team did an amazing job with that. That is awesome. Yeah. And really unique. I think that was really, really cool.
That was pretty cool.
And it really did. It made all the news. It was great. So they've been really kind of amping it up here for the Warlords launch. Their whole marketing team has really kind of kicked it up a notch in anticipation for the expansion, which is great. So
and they may have done too good of a job because now we're having
that's what I'm thinking.
2 times.
I think like a lot of people came back and were excited. So if anyone to blame the guy that put the taxi in Times Square. Blame that guy.
That's it. Do that. Oh man,
it's your fault, sir. It's your fault.
It's funny because it's queues, it's servers on fire, it's all that. But Blizzard has the best worst problem any company could have. Everybody wants to play their game right now.
Right.
Everybody.
And that's actually a really good point, because I mean, I think the best thing to come out of this is, well, I guess we can all put it to bed now. World of Warcraft, not dead.
Yeah.
Right. Not dead at all.
I think we're okay. I think we're going to be all right.
Right. What?
All 8 million of those people signed on at the same time on Thursday.
Yeah, they really did. They really did. So now, how did you guys prepare before all the kind of issues that they had and actually playing the game? How did you guys prepare for it? I know that Darius, you were actually planning on doing a 24-hour stint or something like that, right?
Yeah. So that was my plan, was to do 24 hours all the way to 100 or 10 hours, however long it was going to take. And then I played a soccer game like 2 hours before launch. So I made it about 7 hours or so before I finally passed out.
How far did you make it in those 7 hours?
I got to 95, I think, almost 96.
Wow.
Yeah. There was a lot of frustration in there too. I was slightly ahead of the curve, and then it slowed down a little bit because things started lagging really, really bad. So you couldn't attack mobs. You couldn't really see what was going on, getting disconnected, things like that. So it really slowed down, and then it got to the point at that like 6th or 7th hour where I was like, this is not productive, and I just ended up falling asleep.
Right. But did you have like the fruit like standing by, all the food?
I bought a bunch of fruit, bananas, apples, oranges, all that kind of stuff, water. I bought, that's all I was eating all night was like trying to stay healthy, to try to stay awake and not crash with caffeine and everything.
As your cat passes by your camera.
Nice. It's going to the dark portal. It's ready to go.
so yeah, I was all ready and trying to be healthy about it, but then it just got it just got frustrating where I couldn't even turn in quests or see quest givers. So I ended up going to bed and coming back the next day and sitting in queue all day. Yeah. I made it to 100 pretty quickly.
That's good. That's
awesome.
That's awesome. That's really great. Colt, how about you? How did you prepare for the launch, I guess?
Well, here's the deal, Lucille. Mm-hmm. I was not able to get that day off work, right? So Thursday and Friday, I had to work. In fact, I suggested to my boss, hey, there's a good chance I might call in sick on Thursday. He's like, that's really funny that you would say that. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I need to work. So I said, I'm going to be there at the launch. So I didn't do much prep work. I'm ready to go. It's midnight. It hits. Having trouble with the servers, right?
Yeah.
It was like, I think everyone can talk about the rock boss. That rock.
Oh yeah.
Right.
like those initial quests when you go in and oh man.
It was amazing. Yeah. You had about 60 to 80 people all trying to hit one rock, and you're just like over and over and over again. It was unbelievable. It was incredible, actually, to watch. It was just all these people. And it reminded me of Pandaria. If you remember, in Myst, there was something similar where you had to go in this room and like click on this little hut, this little thing inside this hut, and there were all these people crowded around it, and it was the same deal. People were grouping up like, oh, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they seem to have repeated that in Warlords, but that's all right. So there was the rock boss. Mm-hmm. So everything was crazy. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to get up at like 5 or like 4, right? And then the servers will be up, and I'll be good to go, and I can just level from there, and then I'll have to go to work. Well, you're excited. It's a new expansion, so you can't really fall asleep. Right. So I laid in bed for 2 hours, got back up at 2 a.m., and then decided, well, might as well check. Hey, servers are running good. Played all the way up from 2 to like 8:30. I was still late to work. Was a zombie because I was literally up all night.
Right.
And then crashed out. So I not the best plan, before going to work. So it was not the most successful launch for me.
Right.
But that's all right. How about you there, Zucker?
I saw pictures of low pop servers of those the rocks where people were just forming orderly lines of tunes, just clicking on it one at a time.
That was not happening on Airy Peak.
No, not at all.
It was kind of a nightmare. I don't know.
Kind of.
For me, I think I was on for like 2 or 3 hours, and like the rock boss and like everything else was really tough to click on. Even Khadgar at the beginning was a little tough not to find, but to actually have it register. Like everything was just so laggy and so bogged down and everything. And it was kind of a nightmare. And I'm like, I could just like beat myself about the head for a while with doing this, or I could go to sleep.
Right.
So I went to sleep. I don't know. I was like, okay, done. It did take me a while to go back to bed though, because I was planning on staying up pretty much all night.
Yeah.
So
I think that happened to a lot of people.
Right. Speaking of which, we should probably check in with our friend again, see what the progress is here. I'm going back to Draenor. I'm going back to Draenor. Oh, wait, I'm in. Oh, I'm in. Yes, I'm in. Oh, wait, why am I not moving? What? Oh, please, let me move. Where'd everybody go? Oh, no. I don't think so. No! What are you doing? Still struggling.
Having a tough time.
Yeah, that's all right. But
you'll get it eventually.
Yeah, exactly. So now, other than the slowdowns and the server crashes and fixes and downtime and stuff like that we've been dealing with, let's talk about actual Warlords content.
Woo!
Because I am really loving some of this content. And I haven't cleared all the way up to 100 like you, Dairies. So
this is the most fun I've had leveling in this game. Period. They've done an amazing job with this content.
Yeah,
like this is so much fun. Just going from level to level, even quest hub to quest hub. I never feel like I'm getting tired of a zone or or burnt out on something, or that even to just like there's too much to do. I never feel lost. I always feel like there's something interesting on the way. There's always a rare or a treasure or something to look at. Just going from quest hub to quest hub, it's man, I just can't say enough how awesome this leveling experience has been.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I gotta just say, man, the thing about it is, so for those of you that are like rushing, right? Some of you guys are rushing and you're hitting the escape key on the cinematics, right? Do you want to cancel this cinematic? I beg of you, if you're gonna go through this again with an alt, watch the cinematics. The cinematics at the end of a quest, like of a zone,
right,
are some of the most epic things I've ever seen. They must have hired some guy that said, all right, just write like awesome lines and awesome moments. Like there's this like amazing moment where this one cinematic where the bad guy, there's a bad guy and a good guy. I don't want to spoil it, but the bad guy says, you will all die.
Right.
And then the good guy says, just you. And then boom! Right. It was like, yeah! Right. Like, it was so cool. Like I've literally cheered, I don't know how many times at the end of these cinematics. Like it's just epic and it's cool.
Right.
And I'm into the story and it's engrossing. And like I like how too the lore, you find out about it either in-game in these in-game cinematics or like the cinematics, but it's not like quest text. Like you can still, because they know that people tend to just hit accept, right?
What?
You just kind of, you get a quest, you hit accept, you move on, right?
No.
And they realize this. So they have the NPCs walking around speaking the spoken dialogue, explaining the lore because you're forced to watch it, right? It's like, let the ritual finish, speak to him after the ritual, and then you have to watch the ritual, and the ritual is super cool.
Yeah.
So they've done an amazing job, and I completely agree with Darius. The leveling experience has been absolutely incredible. And the quest hubs, but it's just so epic. It's just so cool. There's so many amazing moments. And this is just on the Alliance side.
Right.
I know people on the Horde side that say that the Horde side, the story is even better. And it makes me want to check out a Horde just for the story.
What?
Like, that's crazy. Well, I'm just saying, like, I've never felt that before. Like, I want to see what the cinematics are on the Horde side now. I've never felt that in WoW. So, I'm geeking out, man. I'm geeking out big time.
Yeah, and like some of the big epic storylines, like the Battle for Shattrath, and man, there are just so many that I'm like, each zone has its own storyline, and as soon as you finish it, you go, wow, that was kind of a neat little story. I like that.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the zones too, just the look of the zones, fantastic. Right. Fantastic. I mean, like there's this place where you go that's kind of like really overgrowthy in Shadowmoon Valley in the southern part. It's like all overgrowth, but it's kind of like shiny. It's kind of like elfish, or elvish. Got this, background like you can hear the music behind you.
Yes.
And you're walking through there, and I'm like looking at these textures, just like overwhelmed by them. It's just so cool to be walking around in this stuff, and it's nice that Blizzard, after 10 years of a game, is still able to surprise me all the time. I mean, it's like with every zone, there seems to be like little cool surprises around every corner. However, I did not like the pack of 100 level beasts and stuff that I found in Gorgron by mistake. I actually tried to attack one, and I went, oh crap! That's level 100.
Right.
Not expecting that. Not expecting that at all. Not the surprise I wanted. Anyway, it's
just like even just Shadowmoon and Nagrand and all these areas. There's just all these tiny little sub areas where there's quest hubs, and you're spending a half hour doing quests or whatever, where you feel like you're just in a totally different area. You're just they've done such an amazing job with that. And with the phasing, it never feels unless you're in Shadowmoon trying to do the intro quest, like you never feel like there's a lot of people out there. Like they do an amazing job making your character feel like a hero, like the story revolves around you.
Yep.
Right.
And it's they haven't done that to this effect before, I don't think, and it's made it so much fun to level. I'm excited to go back with other tunes and do it differently, because I know there's quest hubs I didn't go to the first time around, or there's different quest lines that I didn't follow or whatnot.
Well, and apparently there are different quest lines depending on the things that you pick for your outposts, right? If you pick a different building for your outpost, you'll have one set of quests as opposed to the other one. So
right, like I chose the Mage Tower in I don't know, Talador, I think is where I was. So that sent me way over here to the left. But if I chose the artillery strike, I think I was going to go way over here to the right. So it can be a different experience for your different alts. Now, here's the thing. By the way, let's say I picked the Mage Tower. And I'm like, this is kind of cool, but I really wish for the outpost I went with the artillery strike.
Yeah.
You can change it. It only costs 10,000 gold. So just a heads up that whatever building you choose, you pretty much got to stick with it unless you want to drop 10K. But remember, the outpost, it doesn't matter. Like it's not like your garrison where I chose this building and now I have to, you can choose whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's not going to have some huge gameplay effect on whatever building you choose in your outpost.
A little bit. So Nagrand has this great one where you either get this character that tanks for you and does a ton of damage, or you get a mount that allows you to stay mounted while in combat in Nagrand, so you never have to dismount.
Oh man,
it makes leveling in Nagrand so much easier, so much quicker.
Right.
No matter which one you pick. I mean, they both are hugely beneficial, so it doesn't they're both going to help you. But it is fun to see that. When I first got to Nagrand, that's what I saw. I saw someone mounted up and attacking things, and I'm like, how is he doing that? That's amazing. I want that.
Right. No, you're right. I mean, it affects which helpers or what kind of help you get in that zone. But oh my gosh. But yeah, in fact, I'm doing Nagrand next. So let's talk levels here, boys. Let's talk levels.
You want to talk levels?
You want to talk levels?
Do you want to? Oh boy. Do I need to increase my volume? Is that what you're talking about? Levels?
I think yes. I'm talking about audio. I'm talking about audio levels. No, but so for me, I'm 97.5. All right. I know. I didn't make it. I didn't get the 100. I didn't get the. I will admit, I got locked out. I think it was Friday night. I logged out my monk in a garrison, and I couldn't get back and play him.
Oh, that's
my monk named Wok Fu. We will Wok Fu. Yes.
Oh man.
I couldn't log him in, so I had to do some alt leveling, which is, of course, Coltrane and my mage, and my secret love, my Ret Pally. Oh my gosh. I'm falling in love with Ret Pally. So much fun. Yes. So anyway, 97.5 for me. Zuggers, what's going on with you?
For me, I ended up, as of right now, I'm at about 96.5, I think. I had some, things happen. I had to go out and meet up with family. Again, it's outside stuff that's all interfering. It's
exactly right.
I don't need this in my life, in my WoW life right now.
That's right. That's right.
And then I have a wife. I have family in town. I'm getting pulled from all sorts of different directions. I can't manage to level like you, especially after the first night.
I went out. I bought fruit and got lots of water, things like that. I prepared for this.
Yeah.
Right.
You could have left your whole family. I mean, I'm just saying.
He's right. No, right. He's right. No, what he's saying is correct.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying I was ready on launch night for a nice long night of leveling. And after 2 hours of clicking on a rock, I was like, okay, guys, I'm done. I think I'm pretty much done.
Right.
I don't know. Speaking of which, we should check in with our friend and see what's going on with him. Hold on. Here we go. I'm going back to Draenor. To Draenor. To Draenor. I'm going back to Draenor. Wait, what? Look out! No! I don't think so. No, I don't think so. That sounded like a DDoS attack.
That sounded violent.
It sounded very DDoSy.
Jeez. Sounded like a DDoS.
But Darius, you hit 100, right?
Yeah.
You went straight for it. So you're 100. Congrats.
There we go. Congratulations.
I actually hit 100. This was Friday night, I guess. I hit 100, and they said they were bringing servers down Friday night into Saturday for maintenance. And I signed on, and I was at 90, or I was at 99, and 20%. and there was an hour to go to server maintenance. And I was like, oh, I can probably do this. So I started questing and going through, and I did the bonus objectives in Nagrand and things like that. And I got to 99%, and it pops up and says server reset 15 seconds.
Oh!
And I'm in a quest hub, and I've got 200 experience left to get. And I'm like, oh God, what do I do? Like, I turned in all the quests and everything. There's nothing around me. So I just book it out of this quest hub, and I find the first completely innocent, like, yellow NPC just hanging out there, and I just slaughter it. And I ding 100, and before I can even type "yay," servers go down.
Yeah, that's the best. That's like coming back from one person left on a raid.
Wow.
So
yeah,
that was clutch.
Yeah,
that was clutch.
And then it was probably a good thing the servers went down when they did, because I probably would have stayed up all night, doing heroic dungeons or things like that. So it actually forced me to go to sleep for 8 hours.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty epic. I saw one person managed to type like "grats," in guild chat or whatever, and then it was just gone.
Right. That's cool.
That's awesome. Now I gotta ask you, Darius. Now that you're 100, so you're 100. So like you say, you're doing the heroics. Like how has been the gearing? Like so for raiders, you hit 100.
Yeah.
How is the process? What's going on when you hit the 100? How's it feeling?
So I had already done the legendary quest stuff up to the 640 ring. So as soon as I hit 100, I already had a 640 ring ready to go. And then it's it's just like every other expansion you get to. When you hit max level, it's do normal dungeons till you get 610 eye level, and just start doing heroic dungeons. We had a group last night. We were doing heroic dungeons, but one of our healer didn't have 610s. We couldn't queue. So we were running from dungeon to dungeon, and we would run through them. We were doing the legendary quest stuff in the dungeons and whatnot. But it's just like, it's actually a little bit faster than previous expansions, because if you're doing it 5-mans with people or a random 5-man, you can set it to personal loot. And there's a chance that 2 or 3 items might drop per boss instead of just one that you're rolling need or greed for. Whoa. So the gearing is actually faster as a whole for the group.
What? Okay, well, hold on a minute. Whoa. Back it up. We got to go back in time here.
Uh-oh. Hold on. I wasn't ready for that.
Get back in time.
There we go. Yeah. New sounder for you guys.
Okay. There it is. Now, you're saying that when you're in there with your 5-man group on heroic, you're recommending that everyone switches it to personal loot, right?
Yes.
When you go into a 5-man heroic, and then you go into the heroic, and because it's on personal loot, you individually have a chance at getting multiple items off one boss?
Yes. So the way it worked before was a boss would drop one item, right, and then you'd get the thing that pops up that allows you to roll need, greed, or pass. Right. And it's one item. It could be, a piece of male agi leather, and you have no hunters and no Ellie shaman or enhancement shaman. So it's wasted. And now that boss is dead and nobody got loot for it. If you set it to personal, everybody has a chance, although smaller than, the boss dropping something before, but everybody gets a chance of loot dropping for them personally, like in LFR, exactly the way LFR works right now. So the boss dies, and you could have 3 pieces of gear drop, and not only is it gear, it's gear that those people can use. It's as a priest, it's cloth gear with intellect on it.
Right.
As a druid, a guardian druid, it's it's agi with base armor or bonus armor or something like that, and it's per person. So there were times where we killed bosses and 3 pieces of gear dropped. There were times where we killed bosses and 1 piece dropped. So that was like normal, but it definitely geared the group up a lot faster by having personal loot.
That's cool,
and it also gets rid of all loot drama.
Holy cow.
That's great.
That's major. Like Grand Nagus in the chat room said, I had 4 people get loot from 1 boss in Skyreach.
That's cool.
This is incredible. What are we doing? We got to do this.
I know.
Personal loot.
Well, I got to get up to 100 first.
Well, yeah, we do have to do that. You need suckers.
It is
bringing up the rear.
Right.
A little weird though to go through a dungeon though, and a boss dies and no loot window pops up for you to roll on, and then you think, well, where's my loot? And you've got to go and actually click on the boss, because not only is the loot, but it's the gold and everything is personal. So you've got to click on the boss and actually loot that stuff. It is a little discouraging too, because you go through and like we cleared Grimrail Depot, the one with the train, which is an awesome instance, by the way. When you guys get to do that, it is awesome. But we cleared that whole thing, and I didn't get a single piece of loot. So not only did I not get loot, but I don't see the loot window popping up, even asking me if I want to roll on anything. So it's kind of a bummer there if you're looking for loot, but you do end up with way more in the end.
Okay. Holy cow. So just to review. Go ahead. Sorry, it's fun. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, it's fun and it's a lot faster. Getting to that 610 is pretty easy, especially if you do your final questing into Grand. That's when I started replacing all of my gear. My rating gear was getting replaced there. So I actually used my rating gear. I used all the way up to about 98 and a half. And before I started replacing things. But yeah, the dungeons are a lot of fun. There's a lot of cinematics in them, like we're seeing when leveling. There's a lot of, interactions. There's a lot of little things hidden here and there. There's a Hearthstone table sitting in one of the trains on that Grimrail Depot. There's like two NPCs kind of standing around this table, and you walk in and you fight them and they die, and you kind of walk past it, don't even notice. But we kept wiping there for some reason, and one of us noticed there's a Hearthstone table sitting right there. So there's lots of little stuff like that to make this really exciting and a lot of fun. Just make sure that if you're going to queue for heroic dungeons, you get your silver challenge mode done.
Yes,
and for a DPS.
You mean proving grounds?
Proving grounds. Sorry, proving grounds. Yeah.
Where are the proving grounds? Just so that people know where you can get to them.
You queue for them in your garrison, in the town hall in your garrison. It's the person that sits behind the table where you interact with your followers and send them on missions. It's the person that sits behind there, like at the chair. You talk to that person, it queues you for proving grounds, and then it just sends you right back to where proving grounds were in Mists of Pandaria. It's the exact same location.
All right, that works.
Proving grounds, especially for DPS, the proving grounds are a joke. They are much easier than they were in Mists of Pandaria. In fact, to get bronze as a DPS, the mobs don't even attack; they just stand there.
What?
And then in silver, they don't attack until you're a couple phases in. But even then, they don't really do anything to you. They just CC you.
You sure you weren't just lagging out or something? The server?
I'm positive. They just stand there. They just stand there.
Oh man!
So don't worry about having to get silver proving grounds to queue for heroic dungeons. They are very, very. It's literally to make sure that you are a human being, and you know that you have buttons.
And I've heard too that the proving grounds are actually the same as Mist. There was talk for a while that there's going to be these kind of new proving grounds where it's going to help you teach your class, but it looks like maybe that didn't get into the game as of right now. So is the proving grounds the exact same as Mist, correct?
Yeah, they're the same.
Except they just stand around apparently.
Yeah. Well, the bronze. To get bronze, they're trying to introduce you to these mobs, and they tell you about them, but they don't do anything. They just stand there, and you look at them, and you hit.
Right. So now, have you done other roles as well? Have you done the tanking one and the healing one? Or actually, you're just doing you're on your priest right now. So have you just done the? Yeah. Although people have done it, I think Derevka did the tanking one on his priest. But have you tried the healing one?
No, I haven't done the healing one yet, so I can't speak for those. I've heard that the tanking one is more difficult than the DPS one. But not impossible at all. And I think it's a good way, because again, like I said, they're not very hard, but it's enough to let you know that, hey, you queued as a DPS, so this is how you DPS.
And that's what they wanted, right? I mean, that's what Blizzard wanted out of this deal. They wanted to make sure that you kind of understood some of the basics anyway before getting into the heroic level stuff, and it's just kind of like a gate for some people,
right?
And just to make sure that everybody has a good time. So that's cool.
Indeed.
That's cool.
I have a couple more questions for Darius, if that's all right. being level 100.
Right.
So for us raiders out there, so I was hanging out in the old CTR Mumble last night, and a lot of people were asking, they were still leveling up, and they were saying, when I hit 100, what do I do? Like, what do I do to prepare for raids, right? So Darius, you're 100. You're currently gearing up in these heroic 5-mans. What are some other things that raiders should be doing when they reach max level to get themselves prepped and ready for the upcoming raid?
So you're gonna want to be doing your daily that's in your inn. It's gonna tell you to do like the Ring of Blood, I think it's called. It's you're supposed to do it with a group of like 2 or 3 or 4 people or whatever, and that's gonna give you 1,000 Apex's crystals. You're gonna want those for your legendary. You're gonna need about 5,000, but you're also gonna want it later on for buying gear. So you're gonna want to do that. You're gonna want to do heroic dungeons. That gives you 630 gear. You're going to want to upgrade your garrison. You're going to want specific things in your garrison, like stables and barracks, a lumber mill, an inn or a barn, and then your professions and a salvage yard. You're going to want all of those because they're going to give you the best chance at getting gear off of your followers. You're going to be wanting to send your followers on missions, specifically XP to get them to 100, or garrison resource missions to get all of those. Don't bother doing the gold ones. They don't give very much gold, and it's not worth wasting your followers on that. You want to get them as high level as possible, so you start getting these rare missions that then give you gear, and there's chance at getting epic gear with all that. Then you can do other things like you can go and do your there's a herbalism section of your garrison. Go and pick the herbs for mats. Go to do the mining thing, do that for mats. You're going to want to do the legendary quest line, which is pretty easy. It's a few cinematics and talking to a few people, and then 3 heroic dungeons.
Yeah, it's Khadgar starts that one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And
I got a question too about in fact, maybe we should talk a little bit about garrisons real quick. Fatsuno in the chat room says you do not need the 5k Apexis crystals for your 680 ring. You're able to turn it in without completing that quest. I actually heard that from some other people as well. So I don't know if that's true, but
I don't know. I've done all of the dungeons that are required, because there's 3 dungeons you have to do, and you can get 3 items from those dungeons. I've done them all, and I can't turn in anything because I don't have 5k Apexis crystals. So I'm not sure what he's talking about, because I've done all of the prerequisites to that point.
Right, but can't seem to turn it in.
Right.
No, there's nothing to turn in. I mean, it's I'm stuck there. Yeah, it's 6. You get the 640
ring.
Yeah, you can get the 640 ring at level 98.
Right.
You just can't equip it until level 100. The 680 ring, you have to have 5k Apexis crystals.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool.
All right.
Zuggers, I'm afraid I'm asking too many questions.
No. Feel free. That's totally cool.
I want to ask real quick about garrisons, right?
Yeah.
Garrisons.
Yeah.
Okay. So first off, I got to talk about garrisons. I think these things are awesome. I'm hooked. Some garrisons.
I'm totally hooked, man.
Right?
And everybody that I've talked to in Mumble and stuff like that, they're like going, I thought that garrisons were going to be kind of a joke, or farm version 2, and then they're like, I am in there all the time. I'm just doing everything, doing all the things, making sure that everything is getting leveled. I'm hooked on the missions. I'm doing all the things. So yeah, people are really loving it. So
they've done a really nice job, and I find myself trying to be effective. I'm like, all right, I'm going out to dinner with my wife. So I might as well queue up an hour-and-a-half mission. You know what I mean? While I'm done. And then maybe she'll go to the bathroom or something, and then I can log in and real quick set up another one while she's, away momentarily.
Right.
So that's at least going. I find myself trying to be effective with my time. All right, I'm going to bed. Let's set up a 10-hour one. Right. And then I should be ready at lunchtime to log back on and set up a new mission. You know what I mean? To get them going.
Right.
But I do, man. I completely agree. I was kind of on the fence about these garrisons. I didn't really understand it or what was going on with them, but I am completely hooked, man. I got the work orders going. I got the herb garden going. I got all my followers, and I dig that you meet these guys out in the world. Part of the reason I want to finish these zones and these quests is to get more followers, to get these followers. It's gotta collect them all,
Right.
And you level them up and everything. It's great.
There is that. There's the whole, oh my God, I got another follower. I got another one. And I do like how easily you level up to level 2 garrison. You're level 1 for a little bit. Just for an hour. or so.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're level 2. That feels so much better than just like staying at level 1 forever. And then finally, after like 3 levels, you're level 2, or whatever. So you can't get to level 3 until you hit 100 though, right? I think that's a thing.
Yeah, I think that's correct. And it requires a ton of resources, I believe, right?
2,000, which is you get that just from leveling, almost just from completing quests and stuff like that. You're going to get more than enough if you don't. So I've upgraded everything in my garrison to level 2 already. So I don't have enough at the moment to upgrade my town hall to level 3. If I had not upgraded everything to level 2, I'd have more than enough to go to level 3 already.
Well, I've also heard that experience potions, I've heard do not get them. Do not do it. Don't use your garrison resources on those XP pots because it's only a 20% increase and they cost 100 resources from your garrisons.
Oh, I've been using those because the bonus objectives give you at least 10% of a level just for finishing it, on top of another 5 to 6% for killing all the mobs and stuff that are in there. And most areas have 5, 6, 7 bonus objectives, so you can get almost an entire level just by doing bonus objectives. And that 1 hour potion will last you through almost all of them.
Well, I guess, I mean,
the fastest way.
Darius is 100.
Yeah.
So you and I are not.
And we are not. Maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know.
There could be.
Other than the family thing. So who knows? Who knows?
Right. Maybe there's something to it.
Oh, man.
As far as to the garrisons, like, I'm curious, Darius, you mentioned stables. How do the stables benefit raiders in any possible way? What are you nuts with the stables? What are you talking about?
So it's what do the stables do? I can't.
They do nothing for raiders. I'll give you a spoiler alert. There's no reason to have a stable. Lumber mill I get because you get the garrison resources.
Yeah, you can go and select trees and whatnot, and
that's right. That's nice. You get some nice resources there. I've got the barn. I'm doing the barn because at level 3 you can get this savage blood, which you need. You have a chance to get it to craft the epic quality gear and items to get prepped for the raid, right? You got to get a barn. Lumber mill I get with the resources. I've also got the tannery because I'm a leather worker. Get those, those things going. But why would you do stables? Can anyone tell me this?
Yeah,
it's horses and mounts.
Yeah, you can be, if you get it to level 2, it allows you to stay mounted while you're questing.
So you're just saying it's like a faster way to do things.
Yeah, which is the same thing you can do in Nagrand when you finally get to that outpost that's out there. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Hello, random mob. I will fight you on my horse.
Yeah, so it saves you that time from having to do that. It also, if you get it to level 3, it allows you to run faster or move faster. While in Draenor, it's speed increase.
Right. So it's in Bendick WoW in the chat room says stables equals quality of life.
Yeah.
But clearly it's not helping raiders. Darius, you need to replace that building.
No. Yeah, once you get to a benchmark of garrison resources, you replace the stables with the Dwarven bunker. But you're gonna have to, if you want to grind out garrison resources, you're gonna have to go back and do, even at 100, go and do quests all over the place. Nagrand especially, most of those quests will drop garrison resources, and you're gonna need a lot of resources.
It's kind of interesting. I've actually tried that. I'm trying out the Dwarven bunker, right?
Okay.
I like me some Dwarven bunker.
Okay.
Because at level 1, it has a double chance or something like that for you to get a better quest reward, right? So when I'm in the Grand, and basically you'll get like a green item. Well, it doubles the chance that it will be blue or an epic. So I'm trying that out, which is gravy. Dwarven bunker at level 3 will give you one of your tokens that you can use as a bonus roll.
Yeah, that's the
level 3.
That's the one that raiders want.
Right, but that's just, I think that's one way to do it. So if let's say you don't have as much time to, I don't know honestly how you get them, if it's in Ashran or something like that. But this is a way that your Dwarven bunker in your garrison will give you one of those tokens, like no matter what. So it's super easy to do, I believe.
Right. Speaking of Ashran, Darius, have you been doing any PvP at all? Because we know that you are the PvP guy now for the show.
Clearly.
Yeah.
since
I've been trying to prepare, build up my PvP gear, stuff like that. I can't find any gear with any resilience on it, so I don't know what to do. I've been looking everywhere. So once I find that, I'm gonna start going. I'm gonna go into Ashran and start.
Halika! What are you doing?
That's right. Now, just so everyone's not confused, there is no resilience on gear. Just in case. I don't know. Some people might be like, yeah, I'm not finding it either.
Yeah, this is weird.
I can't find it. I don't know what you're talking about. I thought you needed it. But I do like how, because I started going to Ashran on accident yesterday, and they bombard you. They're like, hey, no, you're going into a PvP area. No, seriously. Like, there's PvP here. Are you sure you want to come here?
Right.
No, really. Here, click this thing.
Right.
Okay.
Click this if you want a PvP. Okay. You don't want to? Fine. We'll just send you back.
We'll just teleport you back. Yeah.
That's fine.
And I like how they did that. It was I chuckled a little bit when I read that.
Right. It is nice too. I clicked on like a PvP person and I hit an ability and it's like, nope, you can't do this unless you're flagged. Want to be flagged? And I'm like, nope. Like, all right.
No thanks. I'm out. See you later. Yeah.
But that was one of those things where I accidentally, like I did like an AoE thing, you know? Yeah. So I really do like that change that you can't like accidentally flag yourself like you could in Mists and previous expansions. So it's kind of nice. You get a nice little pop-up warning. And you're good to go. So that's kind of nice.
I actually went past a horde little quest area and aggroed one of the guys on there because I just wasn't paying attention. I was on autopilot and got one of the guys and it didn't flag me then either. So that was kind of nice as well. So because I was reacting to them being aggroed. So
right, that's great. That's awesome.
So that was cool. I like that. Nice changes.
That was the thing that everyone was afraid of, is that Ashran's going to be a giant gank fest and what's going to happen and this PvP and all that stuff.
And it was really interesting too because there was a horde guy there, like a player there looking at me, just focused on me, just waiting for me to flag. And it didn't happen.
He's like, bring it, Crane. He's got eyes on Crane. Eyes on Crane.
That's right. Oh, man.
This is awesome. Super quick thing. In your garrison, I've been hearing from a lot of raiders, salvage yard. Very important.
Oh, yes.
I've been hearing. And why salvage yard there, Darius?
So when your followers come back from a mission, there's a really good chance they're going to give you a box that you bring to your salvage yard and open. And there's the majority of the time it's going to be garbage. It's going to be a green, maybe nothing at all, maybe some gold, maybe some grays. But there's a good chance the higher you level it that it's going to be a piece of gear, maybe an LFR piece of gear or something like that. And there's nothing extra you have to do. You just have to send your followers on missions, which you're already doing. Then you end up with all these boxes that are potentially have gear in them. So it's definitely worth it.
Cool.
That's great. Fill in those slots or get something extra. The random purples are a huge bonus.
Absolutely. In fact, speaking of random purples, another thing I heard, challenge mode dailies are actually something that you want to do. You don't even we got our challenge modes, right? And at the end of it, you get a chance at like a raid finder level or something like that, or like an epic at the end of it. But here's the cool thing about the challenge modes. You do not need to have gold or silver or anything. You just have to complete it. So you can get together with your buddies, and it's like a challenge mode daily. I think it's like once per day or something like that. But you want to be trying to do that every day if you can. So all you have to do is just get together with your buddies, run the challenge mode. Don't worry about trying to do it super fast and get gold or silver or bronze. Just complete it, kill the final boss, and you'll get that chance at that loot.
And
so challenge mode.
But how are challenge modes, Darius? Because I know you've tried this, right?
Yeah, we tried to do it last night. We had an average eye level of about 610, 615, and we couldn't even get the first boss to about 90%.
Whoa!
Wow.
Yeah, challenge modes are no joke. The bronze level on most challenge modes is an hour. What I'm seeing from most people is they're clearing. I saw Roger Brown was clearing challenge modes, and it took them about an hour and a half to clear the challenge mode.
Whoa!
Wow!
So it's challenge modes are no joke until you
get a challenge.
Yeah, they're set up to scale your gear down to 630. So if you're at 610 or below, you're going to have a real hard time with challenge mode with just the DPS.
You're going to have a bad time. Welcome.
Yeah. It won't scale you up to 630?
No, it doesn't scale you up. It just scales you down.
Well, all right. Then I guess I won't be doing those first.
So maybe you want to do a little bit of grind for the gear. And
there's better ways to spend your time.
Right. Yeah. In fact, LOS gaming challenge modes are such a great end game right now, are so great at end game right now. Very difficult. I love it. Well, LOS gaming in chat. So that's good. There is that definite level of challenge. So that's great.
Yeah, that's cool. And I don't know what else. What else can we talk about with the game as far as what else raiders should be doing to get ready for? I mean, raids come out in December 2nd. That's when raids come out. The initial raids. Mythic comes out on the 9th. But we have to go through normal, heroic, and whatever else. And that all comes out on the 2nd. So, what else can we do to really make sure that we're getting the most out of our time here, Darius? Do you have any other suggestions?
No, I mean, aside from garrisons, it's the same as every expansion. Do everything you can to get all the items you can. If you've got a way to make your crafted BOEs, do that. You can have 3 of them. If you've got lots of gold, go on the auction house. There's lots of BOEs on there right now. Do all that stuff. Grind dungeons. Grind. Even if you're trying to fill in a few pieces, there's Nagrand you can go, and the quest items out there. I think they're 616, but they have a chance to be 630 or even higher if you happen to get them upgraded to purple. So even if you're 100, go do those quests. There's a vendor out there near the Ring of Blood or one of those areas in Nagrand that sells gear that's 600, somewhere in the 600 eye levels that you can use even to just queue yourself for the dungeon, for heroic dungeons. It's all those things that you would normally do, and then there's garrisons on top of that. Make sure you're doing everything every day in your garrisons.
Garrisons are so fun.
We talked
they
about
really are.
We talked about dailies when Mop hit and how bad those were, but the garrison is just basically the garrison is one giant exclamation point, a blue exclamation point.
Sure.
So make sure you're logging into that every day and doing all the stuff that's in there. Do work orders for your professions. I've got enchanting, so I'm doing enchanting work orders. Do all those. Do pick up all your mining nodes, things like that. Have all your mats ready to go so you can level your professions and send out your followers and
let me just talk about some quick little specifics. One of them is, in fact, Fatsuno, it's funny, he just brought it up in the chat room. Don't buy or craft any helms. The reason is that the Molten Core, 10-year anniversary raid comes out soon. And if you complete that raid, you get an item level 640 helm from the Molten Core raid.
Nice.
So, highly recommended you do not craft a helm because you're going to get a free one in Molten Core. Because the mats usually require, at least on the leatherworking side, 100 of the high-end stuff to make something. Yeah. Now, Darius mentioned 3 at a time. This is a big change. You can only equip 3 crafted items on your character. And that includes trinkets. So that means you can have a Dark Moon trinket and 2 pieces of crafted gear. Or no Dark Moon trinket and 3 pieces of gear. So as far as crafted items go, it can only reach a total of 3.
Yeah.
Now, as far as when Darius was talking about having your professions, what's recommended too with the garrisons is I'm a leather worker. So therefore, I have a tannery going. And you want to get that going as quick as you can and be doing the daily cooldown for that. So if you're like a blacksmith, you want to have a forge. Try and have a building that matches your profession.
Yep.
So you can start those dailies, start getting those mats going, because on the leatherworking side, it takes 100 of these big pieces of leather to craft 1 item. So I've been doing it pretty much every day, and I'm at 40 something or 50, but I need 300 of these things. So so you want to start your garrison and your profession building as soon as you can. Get that going. Once it's upgraded to a level 2, then get a follower in there, because then you can do more work orders. Work orders are what give you those items that you need. So you want to be trying, and they come out every 4 hours, it's going to boop, pop out some high level crafting material that you need. So get those bad boys rolling and going. But the big thing to say is Don't bother crafting a helm. You're going to get that in Molten Core. Also, weapons are included in the crafting gear list. I will say, though, some people are saying don't craft a weapon. The only reason is that crafted weapons are item level 630, which is the same thing that you can get in a heroic dungeon, 630.
Right.
But the crafted armor is 640.
And it does seem like all the crafted stuff is pretty expensive, at least at this point that we're looking at. So, I mean, make sure to try to min-max that as much as possible and really look at what you try to plan ahead. That's the biggest thing.
And one thing that's nice, too, is get your herb garden going. You'd be surprised how important that is. On the leatherworking one, I need so much amount of leather and Gorgron fly trap. I need like 10 of these things. Yeah. So what do I'm not a gatherer. I'm not an herbalist. So what do? I go on the auction house. They're like $100, 100 gold for one. Well, that's crazy. But on the herb garden, once you get a follower in that building, you can say to your follower what you want planted. So I tell my guys, I want you to only plant Gorgron fly trap. So it plants Gorgron flytrap. I think I set it up last night. I'll log in today and find out. Hopefully
Did it work on flytrap? Did it work?
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But it works out nice because that's how I can get my herbs, at least for my daily cooldown from my tannery, my profession building. So
that's awesome.
And you can also upgrade gear and all that other stuff that you can do. But I think we're overloading it with too much info here. So, but anyway, there's a lot of stuff that raiders can do to prep and get ready.
Yeah, and I've been seeing this a lot. People are saying, "Oh, I can't wait to get to 100 so I can screw up my garrison." And
you can screw up your garrison right now, everybody.
I don't think there's going to be a way for you to screw it up. Nothing you build is going to be wrong, and hinder you in such a way that you're not going to be able to raid, or you're going to be so unprepared going into raid that you're going to have a problem. I mean, maybe if you build, and I don't even know if they allow you to do this, but maybe if you build 13 stables, and nothing else, you might have a problem. But all of the buildings are going to help you in some way.
Right.
And even if you don't build a garrison, you're not going to be so gimped so hard that you're not going to be able to raid. So don't worry about it too much. But there are definitely guides out there that you can check.
Yeah.
Wowhead has a bunch.
I know that Wowhead and Icy Veins are like the two that I've kind of been checking out. Ask Mr. Robot has some stuff on garrisons as well. So yeah, check it all out. I mean, there are tons of guides out there, and especially Wowhead seems to have really stepped it up with guides. I think they have about 4 million guides for you. Yeah. They actually have a guide on the guides, which is weird.
They do. You're right. Yeah.
Wowhead's been awesome. They really have stepped it up with the guides, with everything. And it is still that great database. I'm finding myself like back in the day where I type in the name of the quest that I'm stuck on and I click on it. There's the quest in Wowhead and there's the comments. Oh, it's actually located over here to the left. Even though the game says it's in the center, it's over to the left. And I'm like, oh, they're right. There it is. Whoa, dropping something. So Wowhead, great resource, not just for the database, for everything that they offer, but also now with the guides and all that stuff. They've really stepped it up. For Warlords. It's been fantastic.
It has been good. Any last things from you, Darius, before we move on?
I just think it's funny how we're talking so much about garrisons and raiding and whatnot, and 2 weeks into raid, we're going to have all the gear we need, and garrisons are not going to be a thing anymore.
They will totally be a thing. What are you talking about? I think this is going to continue on for a while, and it'll be a nice little thing for if you're looking for something to do, there's always going to be something to do out of your garrison, which is pretty cool. I like that.
It'll be nice to swap to other things, like to get the rare mounts and all that stuff, and not have to hyper focus it onto raiding.
Yeah. Well, but that will be in about 2-3 weeks, right?
Got to get ready.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Well, let's also chat. Let's do a little wrap on BlizzCon, because we didn't do a show around BlizzCon, and BlizzCon happened. BlizzCon was actually a thing.
Yes.
That neither Colt nor I went to.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
We had some things to take care of. You had a wedding to go to. I had some family things to take care of. It was, I wanted to go. I wanted to hang out with you, Darius. How was it?
Man.
Sure.
I was like and my inner nerd was just raging. Yeah. Like seeing this, because I'm like, checking my phone. I'm like, oh, what's this Overwatch? Oh, like, oh, geez. I'm glad I'm here, not there.
Right.
Do you guys remember last year how much fun we had at BlizzCon and how excited you were? It was basically 10 times more than that. It was awesome. Partly because you guys weren't there, so everybody just talked about me, which was great.
Even better. The best of the best, right?
But the Overwatch reveal was amazing. Being able to play that was amazing. Just having everybody there watching the Hearthstone tournament was so good, and the stage they built. I don't know if you guys watched the live stream, but the stage they built for Hearthstone was so cool. I just wanted to run up there and just order a flagon of mead and just hang out up there by the fire. Like it was, it was so cool. They had all the computers there, so playing Overwatch was a lot of fun. The Metallica concert was great. I was a little worried that because they're so old, the concert might not be that good, but the concert was really, really good. And then the WoW movie cinematic.
Oh yeah, the one that we couldn't see from the virtual ticket.
Oh my goodness, it made Lord of the Rings CGI look like claymation.
Oh no!
Wow,
it
started to look like the original Clash of the Titans.
It was,
the original one. Oh man,
fighting the skeletons, right?
It was so good. So they do the cinematic. You get to see them pan over Stormwind, which looks amazing. You get to see the mashup between the CGI and the live action and whatnot. And then they do a cinematic at the end, or just it's not even a cinematic. It's Duratan, and you're just watching his face, and it's just this close up of his face, and he's come to tears or whatever, and he's got this inner turmoil as to what's going on in his life at that moment. And it's all CGI, but I swear they have gone somewhere and found orcs, and they just videotaped an orc.
Right.
It looks so real. Right. It is so cool, and you guys missed that. So
I know.
Thank you.
Although I did watch the virtual ticket, and I saw Rob Kaczynski go on stage, and he was amped. I mean, this is a guy that has boundless energy. I mean, he was crazy, and he was carrying the big doom hammer on his shoulder. I was like, what is going on?
It was massive, too. Oh, my God.
So huge. It's like, oh, man, how can you do that? I don't know.
I did hear, though, that the footage of Duratan was he was wanting to play Warlords, but his wife wouldn't let him, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I didn't spoiler. I didn't want to spoil it, but
crying and full of inner turmoil. His significant other was not allowing him to play.
Right.
So he was just bawling. So I get it. That's what was happening.
Right.
It was, and the theater they had it in this Dolby Atmos theater. So Dolby partnered with them, and they had something like 37 speakers in this one room, or like above you, on the sides, on the floor, everything. So the sound was just, I mean, it was the kind of sound that you feel more than hear, and it was so cool. They
nice.
They did a really, really good job with that. And that was almost worth the price of admission alone.
Cool.
It was awesome.
Cool, man.
I'm so pumped for the movie.
I so wanted to go, and now you're making me regret not going. It's crazy.
So
it's crazy.
Suckers.
So I got to ask you, on the WoW side of things, there wasn't a lot of WoW news. Not a lot of WoW news covered because pretty much everything was coming out.
Right.
And a lot of people were like, because they were like, so what we're doing is we're doing an item squish. It's like, well, we know that.
Yeah, basically, what they did was they combined all the different interviews that they've had over the last year and kind of, well, as Darius might say, rehashed it.
Yeah, that was the WoW panel was just a recap of patch notes from the last year, pretty much.
Right. Rehashing eggs, if you know what I'm saying.
And then a few people asking if they were going to add things into the game for Warlords, which was set to release 4 days from when they asked.
Right.
Can you answer that? Well, might not have enough time.
Maybe not. Right. And the big news, of course, was Overwatch, the new game, the new IP from those guys, and it's it's not even in alpha really or anything. Well, I guess it's an alpha.
I mean, I played that game, and they could release that game tomorrow as a technical alpha, and it would be further along than some of these alphas they've released. I think it is the graphics look very polished. The levels, while they need some balancing and things like that, could be released now.
Yeah.
Every character is fully fleshed out with all their abilities and all that stuff. Again, they need to balance.
Sure.
But it is fully playable, and it is a lot of fun.
Right. And it kind of reminds me of, graphically, it kind of reminds me of a little bit of WildStar kind of.
Team Fortress 2, maybe?
Team Fortress 2.
Between WildStar and TF2. That's a really good way to put it.
Right.
It's graphically and the way it plays and the big like sweeping animations and stuff that you would get from like a WildStar, plus the graphical style and gameplay of a TF2.
By the way, guys, I don't know if you know this, but or Colt, if you remember this, but back in 2012 on this show, the name of Overwatch was actually made. So if you don't remember, this was episode 41. Back when Solafly was on the show. And I want to play this for you because I think it's really cool. Episode 41, like 120 episodes ago, we called it. We called it 2 years ago.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Here it comes.
I like how tanks can be Overwatch.
Overwatch.
More
Overwatch. This is Solar's vernacular.
Yes, but you guys get what I'm saying. You know, Overwatch. I like how tanks can be.
I just think I think that is such a silly word.
Is that on the new Doppler 5000 tonight on Overwatch?
Channel 6 presents
See if
Overwatch.
I'm using this word properly. Overwatch, dictionary.com.
I think that's a new word. I don't think I've ever heard the word Overwatch.
It's a new show on CBS.
Exactly.
Oh,
Hi, I'm Charlie Tuna. We're swimming upstream. The Overwatch blowing up here on the Doppler 5000.
Oh, God.
Back to you, Zuck of the Blue.
Thanks, Johnny. There we go. So,
I mean, isn't it any surprise though? We knew WoW devs or Blizzard devs listen to this show.
Yep.
It's pretty obvious that we gave them all of the info they needed to make Overwatch.
So, yes, clearly.
Right. So you're welcome, Blizzard.
Any day now.
Right.
That's good though. That's fun.
Wow, that's from years back. That's so.
How did you find that?
That's so crazy.
I just remembered it, and I'm like going Overwatch. Didn't we have a thing? And I'm like, didn't I call it Overwatch? And sure enough, episode 41, it's entitled Overwatch 5000.
That's awesome, man.
Overwatch. Yeah, it took a little bit to find it, but I got it finally. And that was back in the day when Solafly and Aetheric were on the show, and
yes,
the good old days.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have dairies. Oof.
Now we have dairy.
Downgrade.
The dark portal.
That's right.
It's Poe.
Yeah. So some other things with BlizzCon, and then we'll wrap it up. We also had the Smash Bash, the CTR Guild Party, the show party, lots of other shows in the Signals Media All-Star Network were there as well. How was that, Darius?
The party was a smashing success.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
It was a lot of fun. It was Blizzard decided that I mean, in all honesty, what happened was Blizzard found out we were doing our party Friday night, and they really didn't want like the Hilton to just become overrun with people. So they actually decided to have their party at the same time outside,
right,
to try to mitigate that. You know,
right,
and just the thousands and thousands of people that were coming into this party.
Right, and thank you very much, Blizzard, for looking out for us. That's awesome.
We appreciate that.
Yeah,
really
definitely.
But it was great because their party was right outside the doors, and then ours were just up the stairs. So people were coming back and forth. We had a bunch of WoW devs and people like that. There were Bashiak and Zarum.
Celestalon was there, and
Celestalon was there. Halenka was there.
Right.
The guys from Blood Legion. There were Vodka guys. There was Method guys, some Midwinter guys. They were all there. We had everybody from the community was there. We tons and tons of people. I don't want to start spitting out names and forgetting people. So I'm just going to say,
awesome, man.
Thanks to everybody that was there and helping us put it on and have a great party. Everybody had a good time.
And as from all reports that I've heard, it was not hot.
No, it was the air conditioning held out.
Awesome.
There were 3 bars, so there was not a very long line for the bar.
That's good.
Everybody had ample spicy water.
Good.
Yes. In fact, who also had a lot of spicy water was apparently Wok Fu.
Uh-oh.
We will. Wok Fu.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I actually got some stuff from Markonnen from BlizzCon. And
Markonnen.
And he sent like all these like Hearthstone cards. I'll hold them up to the camera right there. But as you can see, and I'll send these to you here, Colt. But we have one that is Wok Fu.
Yeah, it's an actual Hearthstone card.
Yeah, and it says charge, Wind Fury, Battle Cry, silence 2 minions. Incredibly strong, way too OP on that one. And then we have one that's just for Coltrane right there.
Yeah,
and this one says each player draws 3 fortune cookies.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But hold on a sec though, because I like mine because I have Zug, and you can see there's my hunter on there. And the battle cry is destroy all fortune cookies on the battlefield.
No.
So I can destroy them all, and you give people 3 each. So
that's awesome. I love it. I love it.
So that's good. But I'll get those out to you there, Colt.
That's so great. And also a shout out to Tinkerbell. I spoke to him in game actually earlier today. He was the guy that actually brought a stuffed panda named Wok Fu.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and a lot of pictures were taken with him, a lot of him drinking late at night. I think there was a shot of Celestalon punching him in the face.
Right.
So I actually texted that to Celestalon and said, "Can you explain this? Like, what is this picture?" But it was great. So a big shout out to Tinkerbell and to everyone at the Smash Bash. But it was great, like just seeing that there, and it kind of felt in a weird way, like we were kind of there in a weird way. And I also saw 2 big bottles of booze. One for me and one for you there, Pat.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
I think it was excellent, man. Yeah. But the Smash Bash, everyone I heard did an incredible job, and it just came out great. Everyone seemed to have a really, really good time.
And big thanks to everybody that was working the event. Jules, she did a great job of kind of taking over for all the stuff that I was doing. We had Nate and Spencer and Darius and Robin, and I don't even know who all. Megacode. He was leading the charge on the door, so making sure it was all.
Sal and Belschtickle, they were doing they were emceeing,
and Mick Montgomery was there too, and so I mean it was everybody was there, and it was really great. And thank you guys for taking the reins.
Everybody,
for sure. There was a lot of work that went into that show, and I'm glad that it was a great success. So.
Absolutely. Quick little shout out also to Vex from Alone. He's like one of the greatest windwalkers of all time, and he was there. So I've spoken to him in game. He's actually on our server. His name's Vex, VEX. Awesome, amazing windwalker. So I got to see him. So hey, buddy.
There were a lot of guys from the Alone Guild there. They were great. Getting to talk to those guys in person, because Alone is, for those that don't know, Alone is the highly ranked raid team on Airy Peak. They were here before we got there, and they've stuck around, and they've been great. They've been giving, challenge mode runs and guild or raid carries, things like that, as gifts to the guild. They actually gave away another Siege of Orgrimmar carry at the party. They gave it away to a very, very grateful fan that was at the party. She was very grateful for it. But those guys were great. It was great talking to those guys too and meeting them in person, because they love CTR and what we've done to the server and everything. Which is
amazing. And those guys have been really cool for the CTR guild. They are, like you said, one of the top ranked teams. I think they finished top 50.
I think so.
And I think that was World, right? Is that World or is that So I mean, they're a really good team, really great players, and really cool people. And I just I love having those guys on the server, and it was I've only heard good things about those guys. So.
Absolutely.
They finished 83rd in the West and 21st in the US. So good for them.
Wow, that's great.
They really are. They really are really cool guys. So
good.
Thanks to those guys for being there and everybody else.
Yeah. And real quick, speaking of hardcore raid teams, the raiding panel
Oh,
BlizzCon.
yeah.
What'd you guys think of that?
So we had Midwinter versus Method, Top Alliance Guild US versus Top Horde Guild EU. So, a little bit of a thing. And Midwinter jumped ahead initially, as I saw from the virtual ticket, and then virtual ticket crapped out right around boss 3, and I couldn't see the rest of it. Although I know what happened. So Darius, what happened there?
So that was a lot of fun. We got to watch them do Highmaul. They got to practice it basically as much as we did on the betas and things like that. So they didn't get anything extra. And they got to go in there and clear those bosses with kind of what they had put together. And it was really cool to watch them do it. Yeah, Midwinter had on the first boss, they brought only 2 or 3 healers. I think it was 2 healers and 3 tanks. They actually had 1 warrior go gladiator stance.
Wow.
And and do really well. And they finished that boss ahead of Method, but then on the trash after that, both teams were going to skip the trash. They were going to use the rogue AoE stealth to skip trash, and Midwinter's rogue fat-fingered a different ability and face-pulled the trash instead. And that was enough to put them about 30 seconds behind, and they almost caught up at the very end.
But they were like 30 seconds off, right? I mean, it was...
and they finished really close, like maybe 10 seconds off at the very end to end up losing it. And there were a few times, even on trash, where Method or Midwinter, Method more so, almost wiped. They tried pulling more than they should have. And then the final boss at the last like 20%, the Trekkie went down, and then their other tank went down, and they ended up getting them back up. Yeah, and
Sko died a bunch of times, as I recall.
Yeah. Funny enough, the person that I saw die the most over the entire raid was Roger Brown, a hunter.
Right.
He
did die a lot. He did die a lot. And actually, speaking of Roger Brown, he came out with a video. It's like a 5-minute video of a breakdown of their high-speed run through Highmaul. And so he talked about, what the comp was and what the strats were and stuff like that. Apparently, part of the strat is, and here's where I die. So that everybody else can do whatever. So I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things. And so if you guys want to check it out, I think it's on Mana Flask, the Roger Brown vid, and it's pretty cool. It's like 5 minutes long. It's not super in depth or anything like that, but it's kind of cool. I don't know.
That's great.
So, but it was a good time, and I'm glad that Midwinter actually had a lot stronger showing than last year when they wiped on Shaman.
Dark Shaman, heroic Dark Shaman. Yeah, they were trying to like tank them together, and then it was kind of like wipe fest. But they were getting so close each time, because I remember they were asking him like, "Why didn't you guys change your strat?" He's like, "Because we were like 1 or 2% away from killing him. Like we're that close." And he's right.
That was such a heartbreak, wasn't it? I mean, it was like, you just wanted him to clear it.
It was. But this race, it was super close. And Lore did a fantastic job, along with Watchery and Hazakosis, kind of shoutcasting the raid.
Right.
And the excitement, man. Everyone's just going crazy. It was really fun to see. And
it was a lot
for
of fun.
a lot of people, too, getting to see that preview of the raid. Was great. A lot of people got to see some of these boss mechanics and got to see it, and everyone talked to seem real positive, liked it.
Not just boss mechanics, but both these guilds did most of the bosses the way they're going to do it on heroic. So a lot of guilds got to see, that have been doing this, been reading about it, did some of the PTR testing. They now get to see, that's how they're going to do this. That's what we were thinking. So, there's kind of insight as to how these are going to work on heroic.
And we are talking about heroic. We're not talking about mythic.
Oh no, sorry, mythic. No, they did it on heroic.
Right.
But they used their mythic strats for a lot of things.
You think so? Or do you think that they were holding back? Well, I mean, because
they were definitely doing things. They were setting up the way that they were going to set up for mythic
on some of the things for sure. But I would think that they did certain things because they knew that they could get away with it because it's not doing as much damage as on mythic.
Well, I mean, there were definitely mechanics that they cheesed, but they were like positioning of bosses.
They were cheesing a lot.
how they're handling major abilities was a lot like how they're going to do it on Mythic,
right?
Which was kind of a cool insight to see before that stuff goes live.
Of course, there are another 3 bosses that we didn't see, so
yes,
game on.
I know. You gotta admit, man, I'm so excited. This is gonna be great.
Right.
I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. So pumped.
Right.
Gotta get back in time.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps up BlizzCon. I know that, I just want to thank all the community for everything that they've, it seems like there's a lot of love in the air right now, even with servers going down and being blah, blah, blah. A lot of love in the air from all the community stuff. And I think that has everything to do with BlizzCon, because after people got back, man, the love was in the air.
They were pumped.
So, yeah.
And everyone seems to really be enjoying Warlords. Everyone I've talked to is really been enjoying it, really enjoying the questing, the garrisons, everything.
Right. And
it's great. And I can't wait for the raids, man. I cannot wait to dive into that stuff.
I don't have, queue times suck and servers being down suck, but that's a thing that's going to happen when a game launches. There's nothing you can do about it, and that's just something you deal with. But aside from that, I have not had a single thing that has bothered me or that a complaint that I've had about Warlords, even from some of my friends who are the most cynical people. Everybody is loving this, and it's such good praise for Blizzard. They've done an amazing job with this, so congratulations, guys. You've knocked it out of the park on this.
The content has been fabulous. It's the getting into the game, and I know that all the CMs know this, all the developers know this. Getting into the game is the thing that sucks right now, and it's not like they want you to wait in queue at all. They want you to get in and play the game. They want to play the game too. So just be patient, and I'm sure that all this stuff will get worked out as we go along. And we're seeing improvements every day from these guys. So just keep on improving the queue times, and we'll be good to go.
And on the Alliance side, one of the most epic cinematics, you will all die.
Right.
Just you. And then just you. And then
that's Battle of Shatrath, right?
No. It's another one. It's like a little minor one. You don't think it's coming. And then this huge epic moment happens.
Are you sure?
I don't know. It takes place on a boat. It's on a boat.
Yes, it's on a boat. It is
that Shatrath? I don't think that was the battle for Shatrath.
I don't know. I remember seeing it, though. I remember seeing it, though, and going, oh, man.
So epic.
Yeah, Yrel, very great character.
Yrel. Oh, my God.
Very great character. Oh.
Fantastic.
Oh, I love it.
Love me some Yrel.
Right.
Nerds.
All right.
Unite.
Let's get out of here. Did you do your job there, Darius? Did you remember to do your job?
No.
Oh.
If you can stall for a second here, I can do it.
We'll have to vamp here.
Right. It has been 3 weeks. I got to admit.
Yeah.
Corbett saying it's in the Battle of Shatrath. Did it last night. So epic. Yep, Battle of Shatrath.
It is so cool. So cool. And like all the different characters that we've kind of gotten to know over these over the cinematics that we've seen previously, like all the what is it? The Lords of War series. Right. Now we're seeing them come back into the game, and it's like, oh, cool. This is how it all ties in. Yes. This is so great. Do you have it yet?
It all ties in. It's great.
Yeah. All right.
So
wait, hold on a sec. I need the music. There we go.
Oh, right.
Oh, we're doing this.
We're doing
this. Who hated Garrisons now loves Garrisons, by the way.
Right.
I guess we're no longer vamping, so we're ready.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing that. I'm doing the music. So let's talk about 5-star reviews here, Darius.
So we've got TSB, we've got Echelon, Doug XD45, Cannon Killglance, Hessifer of Solvictus. Yep. We've got Alien Bob 808. We've got A Couch, and we've got Op Cool from Dragonblight.
A Couch.
A Couch.
I like Alien Bob, personally.
Alien Bob, yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great name for a name.
There's one in here that says 10 out of, or 100 out of 10 bongos, but I'm not reading.
Yeah.
Right. No. A Couch also goes by the name of Davenport.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know that name.
All right. Well, thank you guys for all of the 5-star reviews. Thank you for, liking us on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, subbing up or whatever. All that kind of stuff. Thank you guys. We really appreciate all the support that you guys have given us over the course of all time. It's very nice. Forever, yes. And please feel free to join in on all the conversations we're having at any time. But first, I really need to bail on this music.
Well, you're just gonna bail out? Bail out of that?
I gotta bail out. And I'm gonna play. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
That one.
Little ham and eggs coming at you. Little ham and eggs.
That's right. That's right. You can email us at convertraid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at ConvertToRaid, or even individually. Isn't that right, Coltrane?
That's right, Pat Crane. You can follow Pat Crane at Pat Crane. You can follow Coltrane at _Coltrane. And you can follow Darius at Board Mind.
Yes, and make sure to join the Bazubu Guava Nation by heading over to converttoraid.com, where we have show downloads, forums, videos, tons of links for raiders. You can sign up for the CTR Guild, just like Gary Gannon did last night. Gannon's in the guild.
We've got Gannon. Got Gannon.
That's right. And he was like, can you invite me? Because I really don't do other people, so I just do people that I know, so just let me in. I'm like, okay, all right, fine, whatever. So there we go. And our live feed and our video show is also on GameBreaker.tv. Please make sure to watch, like, comment, share, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Audio show, again, everywhere. It is everywhere, literally.
Yes.
On the internet.
That's right. The Converter... What?
Sorry. Gary Gannon has already defected to the Horde.
Oh!
That was quick.
What?
He literally just posted in chat.
Well, he was in the guild for about 12 hours.
He was.
Right.
He was. He didn't even hit 91 before he defected to the Horde.
He really did not. He boosted a character. He boosted a character, Alliance, and then switched to Horde. All right.
GG, Gary Gannon.
That's right. All right, the Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends in the Signals Media All-Star Network, signalsmedia.com as well. And that is going to be it for the show. Thank you very much for listening, for watching. We hope you had a good time. We'll see you next week. That would be 11 a.m. Central Time. And for all the guys on Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.